Aloha, amigos. This is Mr. Picard. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I'll be your well-rounded math teacher this trimester, although I'm going to be gone the first week. Sorry, I'm in Mexico. No big deal. But we do run the flipped classroom model. For those who are not aware of it, we take notes at home, just watch the little videos on Schoology. You'll go into Schoology, watch the video, and take a little 1 or 2 problem quiz. And then come in the next day and you'll work on the worksheet in class. This first lesson is a little bit different. You're going to watch the video in class and then work on the worksheet, but I'll give you a couple days to get it done and hand it in. Anyway, let's get started here. We're going to talk about the Pythagorean theorem. This first unit is a trig unit. It should be all review for you from geometry, but we do cover it again. We're going to spend a week on it. And we're going to talk about Sir Pythagoras, who discovered the Pythagorean theorem. And what he did was this. If you look at this little picture here, he took a right triangle. It has to be a right triangle, okay, with a 90-degree angle. And he saw that if you square each side of a right triangle, then, what has it got here? The biggest square is exactly the same area as the other two squares put together, or added together. And that resulted in the Pythagorean theorem of a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. And a and b are the legs, the two shorter sides. This is a leg. This is a leg right here. And then this longer side up here is the hypotenuse. So that would be your c. So a, b, and c squared. Okay, so let's use this. You guys are pretty good at this. You've done it before. Leave answers in simplified radical form. I don't care. Radical form, this is an exact answer. If they ask you for an exact answer, you'd simplify your square root, and I'll show you how to do that. We've done that before. If they just want an approximate answer, then you can just do the decimal answer. So here's the deal. We want to find x on this right triangle here. I have 6 and 15, 2 lengths. Well, those are my legs because they form the right angle, and the one across from it is the hypotenuse x. So if I'm going to use a squared plus b squared equals c squared, well, c is going to become x. That's the side I'm looking for, and it's the hypotenuse, so I plug it in for c. A squared we'll say is 6 squared plus 15 squared, and we solve it from here. So we're going to get, what do we got here? 36 plus 225 equals x squared, or 261 equals x squared when you add them together. Now, to solve this, we're going to take the square root of both sides. Now, you would think, hey, Picard, this is plus or minus. We're going to ignore the plus or minus for right now and just go with the positive always because we're talking about the length of a triangle. The square root cancels out the square, so I'm left with x, and that's what we want. Now I got this 261. If you just take the square root of it, that is going to give us, plug it into your calculator, I think 16.2 if you round it. That's an approximate answer. If they ask for an exact answer where you'd want to keep it as a square root, we'd have to break it down. 261, what is it? It's 3 times 87, and 87 is 3 times 29. And there's my prime factorization. So that's the square root of 3 times 3 times 29, which is what x is. Now, you need 2 factors in order to take them out. When I take out that 3 times 3, it's actually the square root of 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So it just becomes 3 square roots of 29. So there's my exact answer. Here's my approximate answer. And we'll just go with the approximate answer unless they ask us for the exact answer. Okay, the answer to number 2. I want you guys to try number 2. Let's go back up here. Just hit pause right now and figure it out, and then come back, turn it back on, I'll give you the answer. So pause. And I actually got 18.4, or you could write it as 13 square roots of 2. That's what I got. 3, I guess I'll do number 3. Let's go down here. We're looking for this side x again. This is one of our legs now. 11 is actually our hypotenuse. So when we do this problem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, I'm going to get x squared for the a plus 9 squared equals 11 squared. So x squared plus 81 equals 121. And then we solve this equation. Subtracting 81 from both sides, I get x squared equals 40. We got here. Okay, and when you do this problem, I'm just going to get the approximate answer. I'm going to take the square root of both sides. The square root cancels out the square, and I get x equals. Should be plus or minus, but we're just going to take the positive, and I get 6.3 roughly. So x is equal to 6.3. And a couple word problems here, working with the Pythagorean theorem. If you have a right triangle, and you can see that ladder down there forms a right angle when it's leaned against the house, because the house and the ground form a right angle, or a 90-degree angle. Damon is locked out of his house with only open window on the second floor, 12 feet above the ground. And you can see right here it's labeled 12 feet. He needs to borrow a ladder from his neighbor. If he must place the ladder 5 feet from the house, so there's 5 feet. So those are 2 legs right there, 5 and 12. To avoid some shrubs, what length of ladder does Damon need? So basically we're finding x, or our hypotenuse, the length of this ladder. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared is going to be 5 for a squared plus 12 for b squared equals, we'll just call it x squared. That's fine. So 25 plus 144 equals x squared. Well, this is going to give me 169. Anybody know what the square root of 169 is? Well, I do. X squared cancels, so the square root cancels out the square, and I'm left with x. That's 13, plus or minus 13, but we're just going to take the positive. So he needs a 13-foot ladder. Sweet. Common Pythagorean triples. So these are lengths, whole number lengths of sides of different right triangles, special ones like 3, 4, 5. That's a very common one. 5, 12, 13 is a common right triangle, and then 7, 24, 25. The longest side always being the hypotenuse. What you can do with these is, if you recognize that you have a leg of 5 and a leg of 12, you know the hypotenuse is going to be 13. You don't have to memorize these, but it's kind of nice. Another way to look at them is this, is you can double all these. Like another common right triangle would be this, 6, 8, just multiplying by 3 by 2 and 4 by 2. The hypotenuse has got to be 10. Same thing with 5, 12, 13. I could say 3 times 5 is 15, and 3 times 12 is 36. Those are my 2 legs. My hypotenuse has to be 3 times 13, or 39. So just a little thing with common right triangles. I use them all the time, no big deal. The back sheet here now is your worksheet. I'm going to let you guys work on this, but I do want to do number 6 with you guys. You guys should be able to figure out number 5. There's 2 triangles there, but you can see the right triangle. I think you'll do just fine with that. I want to look at this one. It says find the value of x. Well, we have a right triangle here. One side is x. One side's the square root of 2, and then my hypotenuse is x plus 1. Well, being it's a right triangle, we can use the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And I'm just going to say a is x, so that's x squared, plus b is the square root of 2, equals x plus 1, that quantity squared. So after everything's plugged in, we got to do some simplifying, and then we can solve it. Well, this is just x squared. When you square a square root, they basically cancel each other out. So I'm left with plus 2 here, equals. You would think this is power 2 power, but it's not because there's two terms. So you take x plus 1 and multiply itself by itself twice. So this becomes x plus 1 times x plus 1. So simplifying and solving here, this is going to stay x squared plus 2 over here. Foiling this, well, we got an x squared plus a 1x plus another 1x, finally plus 1. And x squared plus 2 equals x squared. These two combine to give me 2x plus 1. So now solving this, it is a quadratic equation, so we got to get everything on one side. So I'm going to get all my x squareds on one side. Subtracting x squared from both sides. Uh-oh, what happens here? They drop out. Not too bad. So 2 equals 2x plus 1. Now it's a linear equation. We can simply solve this by getting x by itself. So we're going to subtract 1. 1 equals 2x. And then just divide both sides by 2. So I get this. X equals 1/2. Now, what did they ask us for in the original problem? They said find the value of x. So 1/2. We are done. Okay, I'm going to head out now. I don't think, yeah, there is a quiz. So make sure you take the little quiz after you get done watching this video, and then you can finish up this worksheet. And I'll say it is due Wednesday. So if you don't get it done tonight, that's fine. Tonight you're going to be watching the next video. I think it's on basic trig functions, SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent. So make sure you watch that tonight. Open up Schoology and watch that tonight, and then come in tomorrow and we'll work on the worksheet in class. So you can get a little help from Mrs. Brevik, because I won't be here. I won't be here till the following Monday. Peace out.